Hello everyone, welcome to the GBRD automation world. Right, we are continuing on the interview questions that are asked in different companies. Right, continuing on it, Cucumber series. Right, if you haven't watched the previous two videos, before watching, please watch them. You will get more idea right on the questions that are asked. We'll continue. Right, next part, third part. Right, fine. We'll continue. How can we use the scenario outline? Right. Scenario outline we will use if we want to execute data driven testing. Right. Cucumber allows to run same scenario multiple times with different sets of input. It helps in reducing redundancy and makes test cases more efficient. Right. Data driven testing. If you want to avoid duplicate scenarios by placing placeholders for dynamic values. Support multiple test cases in the structured way, improves test readability. Right, suppose what is the syntax? We have to use the scenario outline instead of scenario and use placeholders in the step definition, provide test data under examples. Right, suppose we'll see example, login feature. Right, we have a scenario outline, login with valid credentials. Given the user enters, right, Cucumber expressions, username, password. When user clicks on the login button, then the user should see the message. Right, here we have a examples. Scenario outline will have a example. Scenario don't have anything. Scenario examples will have, scenario outline will have examples. That is whatever key, suppose this key should match here, username, password, message. These that should match, then only it will inject. Here different username, password, messages. In the step definition, what we will do? Cucumber expressions are very easy, right? In the future file, we have to give double quotes greater than less than. Here in the step definition, curly brackets, what type? We want what type of data? String type, right? String, username, password, and one more login button. Click on the login, and then message. We want to validate string type, right? Simple. This runs three times. We have right here three rows are there, right? Here I have taken three rows, three type of credentials, so it will execute three times. Same. Another example, add items to the cart. Right. Add items to the cart feature file is scenario. Add different quantities of items. Right. Given the user selects the product. First one is and adds quantity. How many quantity? First user select the product and then how many quantity of that product. And then cart should show same quantity whatever we have added same. Right, here we have a product and quantity, laptop 2 quantity, phone 3, tablet 1. Same thing, step definition what we have to do. Right, same thing, string, curly brackets, string, and here integer. Here also validation also integer. Runs three times with a different product and quantities. How do you integrate Cucumber with Selenium? Right, how do you integrate with the Cucumber with Selenium? We have to add the dependencies, right? We have to add Cucumber dependencies, Selenium dependencies, right? If you are running test-ng means test-ng if you want to run, otherwise JUnit, default one is JUnit we have to add. Create the feature files, right? Then create the step definitions and runner file, right? Sample here feature file, login feature we have, and the step definition and the runner file. Right, run with the Cucumber and a feature file glue code and test runner, right? Like this we can create. Simple. How do you handle dynamic web elements in Cucumber? Right, that is the question with the Selenium, right? Dynamic, how to handle dynamic elements by using XPath or CSS contain starts within XPath, JavaScript executor or Fluent Wait we can use. Right. How can we handle pop-ups in Cucumber? Right, pop-ups means right like this alerts, right? We can use the driver.switch to alert, get the alert and get a text and accept it. How do you handle browser synchronization issues? Right, how do you handle by using dynamic waits? Right, we have explicit wait, fluent wait. we can create how to create explicit wait WebDriver wait equal to new WebDriver wait until right. This already we know explicit wait and fluent wait we can use and wait for the elements. How do you perform parallel execution in Cucumber? Right, we can integrate TestNG with one way is TestNG with Cucumber. We can integrate and then we can have a TestNG file, parallel test and thread count, and then with the JUnit Cucumber options parallel true. We can give like this. Right, like this we can run it. What are the tags in Cucumber? Right, tags are to categorize the scenarios for selective execution. Right, what is the advantage of tags if we add? Right, what is the advantage of it? If you want to run smoke test cases or sanity test cases, if you want to run functional test cases or AP test case, DB test cases or regression test cases, if you want to run different types of test cases, these tags will useful, right? We can run easily. Otherwise, right, we will get right, very difficult to run, right? If we add the tags, it is very easy to run the selective scenarios. Right, how do you run specific scenarios using tags? Right, first we have to keep it as a on the top of the scenario we have to keep the tags. Right, then in the runner file Cucumber option we have to give the tags equal to which tags we want. We can give multiple also at the rate smoke test, right, or comma we can give one more if you want. What are the different types of hooks in Cucumber? Right, we know already. At the rate before after it will run before each scenario and after scenario, before step and after step. It will run before each step and run after step. Right, we can have like this at the rate. On top of method we have to give at the rate before, after, before step, after step. What is scenario context in Cucumber? Right, it shares the data across the, sometimes right, we want to share the data across the steps. Right, definitely we can get this type of question. How we will pass data from one step to another step, one step to another step. Then we can create one scenario context. Simple scenario context means some hash map we can create, and suppose in the first step output I want to share to second, then we can store that. Right, we can give some key and a type of data. We can store either, if you give object, what is the advantage? You can store either integer, string, float, double, object, anything we can store here. So set it wherever we require, pass the and get it. Right, we can create simple hash map and setter and getter methods in some class. Then wherever I want, I can write just store this and get it. Simple. How do you generate reports in Cucumber? Right, we can use the plugins. Right, in the Cucumber runner file Cucumber options, we can give the plugin what type of report you want, JSON report or XML report or HTML report. We can generate these three type of reports. We can give plugins. What are the best practices for writing the Cucumber test? What are the best practices for writing Cucumber tests? Right. Different types of reports we can generate. One is pretty. Pretty means it will generate in console. HTML file we can generate, right? Plugins, different plugins we can add HTML plugin, HTML colon, path of the where we can give any path, and then JSON and JUnit. Right, what is the best practices for writing Cucumber test? Keep future files readable. Right, while writing the future files we have to give some meaningful names so that it is easy to read. Follow a proper folder structure. Right, if you have a 100 future files, don't write everything under single folder. Create the right module wise, right, so that it's very easy to right follow the page object model using Selenium. Right, a page object model we can segregate the page classes and test right Cucumber scenarios clearly. Right, these are some of the few best practices. Right, here what is the page object model? Right, page object model helps to separate locators and actions. Right, main advantage of page object model, what we can segregate our locators with actions. Right, page classes separately we can write If test ng means test cases, Cucumber means Cucumber scenarios. Cucumber step definition we can both separate. Right? How to create for each page we will create a one page. For login page. Right? Add page, delete page we can create, and locators we can create. Right? Corresponding methods. Right? Login page locators and actions. How do you handle API testing? Right? In the Cucumber, how do you handle? Right? We can write a step definition, and we can, by using the REST assured, right, we can create the, right, we can execute it in the steps. Right? In the test engine also methods we will create here. Future file we will create, and step definition. How do you integrate Cucumber with Jenkins? Right? We have to use the Maven. We have to use the Maven and configure Jenkins to run MVN test, publish the Cucumber reports. Jenkins means already, if you are working in a company, they will have a already, right, for each team they will have a admin team will be there. They will provide Jenkins job, they will create, right? We cannot create directly. They will provide it, and we can configure. Already Maven will be there. We can configure to our Git, right? We have to configure to Git, and we have to configure the Maven command, simply MVN test, and publish the Cucumber reports. That's it. How do you use dependency injection in Cucumber? Right. There is a one feature it will provide, right, a Pico container or Spring. We can use to inject the dependencies. Right. Pico container or Spring. We can use the Spring. Right. Suppose example of Pico container. Right. Suppose I have a dependency. One class is there. WebDriver. Right. Here constructor is there. Here we are implementing WebDriver driver equal to. Right. This is by using Pico container. Right. How do you use the dependency injection in Cucumber? Right. What is the advantage of dependency injection? To manage the life cycle of the object shared across different step definition. Right. If you want to create, right, call the right methods and variables of an object, we have to create the object. But by using dependency injection, we can automatically inject the object. Right. There are multiple ways. We can use either Pico container, Spring, Goose. We can use the Goose. These three ways we can use Pico container and Spring and Goose. Right, Pico container. Pico container is a lightweight dependency injection container supported natively by Cucumber. Cucumber JVM itself, it has a feature. Right, to do Cucumber, first step is we have to add the dependency Cucumber Pico container dependency in the Maven file. Right, POM file we have to add. And then we have to create what data we want to share across the different steps. Test context, suppose share string I want to share. We can create setter and getter methods for this string. And wherever I want simply see, this is another class. We can create a constructor and call what is the object test context. Just a test context. That's it. It will inject automatically. Wherever we require, just test context in the constructor, just add it, it will inject automatically. Right. Using same dependency in another step definition. Wherever we want, simply in the constructor, call that, add that dependency. That's it. It will automatically inject it. Using Spring, we can, second way is Spring. For this, we have to add Cucumber Spring jar file, Cucumber dependency in the Maven file. Then here we have to add, see one more thing, we have to create a Spring context. We have to create one class. We can create Cucumber Spring config. On top of it, we have to add Cucumber context configuration Spring Boot. Two annotations we have to add. Then same file Cucumber, but test context string setter and getter method. But on the top of this class, we have to give @component. So that we are telling this is a Spring Bean class. Then inject that Bean class. How to inject? By using auto wire. Here we don't require any constructor. Directly auto wire. Auto wire, class name, object name. That's it. It will inject automatically. One more way is Google Goose. Alright, one more dependency, Google Goose. Here we have to add Cucumber goose, and then here we have to create the see little bit Cucumber module extends abstract module, and then override the configure method. Which class we want? Test context. We want to inject test class, bind test context dot class as engines as eager singleton. And in our Cucumber wherever I want one more is Cucumber, one more enable views in Cucumber. Right, if you want to enable this views in right views dependency, then again we have to write this one custom views module extends abstract module override configure method. We have to install Cucumber modules dot Cucumber create scenario module, bind which class test context in scenario scope. That we have to enable these views to inject in our class. Simply what we have to do at the rate inject and then test context. Right, it is like a pico container, but here we have to additionally we have to do the two steps: create a views module, enable the views in the Cucumber. Right, and the at the on the top of constructor we have to inject, then only it will work. Alright, which one when to use? If you need simple lightweight dependency injection, we will go for built-in Cucumber support pico container. If you are already working with the Spring Boot application, right, if you are already working with Spring Boot application, we can use the Spring. Views means if your application is heavy dependent on Google views, then we can use Google views. Right, pico container is enough for us. It is lightweight and very simple to use. Right, then how do you implement data driven testing? Right, we already seen this how to implement by using scenario outline and examples. Scenario outline and examples. Right, we can use data driven testing. Right, remaining we will see in the next class. Thanks for watching. Right, if you like my way of content and presentation, please subscribe to the channel. Please comment your queries and suggestions in the comment section. Please like the video, share to your friends. Thanks for watching.